figures in numbers. Here's one of our newest supervisors in Paul, who starts in the business in November. And there's a lot to talk about from this one diagram.
Yeah.
Does Mpho do 500 volume points in December? She does more than 500 volume points. You see, the first thing that I don't want to see is I don't want to see 501, 503, 508. Because, guys, this is a leadership training, and I'm going to be honest. Anyone who comes in at 501, 503, 508, it's very hard all month to work hard and get to the end of the month, and you need only a certain amount of points to get to 500 and go, maybe I should only sell them a half an aloe, because if I do that, I'll go too far beyond 500 volume points. We know that if it's 501, 503, 508, it might not be all customer-based business. There might be some buying of product to hold. And every now and then, if we need to buy a little bit of product because my customers are going to need next week, that's okay. But when you see this repeated behavior over and over, what we're realizing is it's not customer-based business. It's somebody buying for a position rather than customers. So we see here, Mpho, 3 months in a row. We would see. 3 months in a row, Mpho, 500, 500, 500. Perfect. But what you start to see is Mpho in her third month has started converting customers to become members. And you see Kebetsuani and, I can't even say the names, Khonse and Mamon Twedi. Now the beauty is...
We're going to write an exam about these names later.
I deliberately chose this because they're so much more interesting than Fred, Mary. The interesting thing I want to show you is some people think that this 500 times 3 plus 2, every person you recruit or convert is going to suddenly rock and do 500. They're in their own development phase. And some of them, you've got to get them slowly developing. And you can see one of them that's, gets started, 92 points. Then 174, 115, 82. Never quite takes off. But they're in development, and one day they'll get to 500. But the beauty is every order counts, because everything is helping towards Mpho's qualification. But finally, come February, she's got one who does 503, 505, 576. But questionable, these volumes. It's obviously a bit of a promotion in place, but it's okay. Except suddenly on 27th of May, we see that it's dropped to 50. This was on the 27th of May, it wasn't the end of the month.
4 days.
It's dropped to 50 volume points. We know that there was a little bit of buying that happened in order to be able to get some recognition or get some reward. This is not ideal for what we want. But what we see in Mpho is her personal volume just keeps growing. She's looking after her customers, her personally purchased volume, and she's teaching other people. 500, 500. Some of them, Khonse, about to move to second month of 500. One of them, 500 times 3. Another one, 500 times 3. By the time April comes, 1st of April, she becomes a brand new supervisor. But she becomes a brand new supervisor, and you can see it, with a whole downline underneath her. And she does 3,645 points, and the next month she ended up on 2,900 points. I've got to add it, I've got to update it. But she ended up on the 27th of May, she was at 2-1, she ended up on 2,900 points. Actually, I have to tell you now that we are about to recognize in July a brand new World Team member, because in June, she's already coming over 4,500 volume points, and then in July, it's done and dusted. And it's not done and dusted because she's pushing for World Team. It's done and dusted because she has two things. 5 to 7 happy customers she's looking after all the time. There's her 500 volume points. And she has members in her team who are either have got 5 to 7 happy customers or are on the road to 5 to 7 happy customers. The biggest mistake you can make as active supervisors is to think that our promotions are 500 times 3. It's not. If you really want to build a business that explodes, 5 to 7 happy customers times 3. That starts to exponentially grow at a rate of knots. 500 times 3 is just volume, sits in cupboards. 5 to 7 happy customers times 3 becomes members and explodes into a business. So we personally have a language, it's not 500 times 3, it's 5 to 7 happy customers times 3. How do we measure that? 500 times 3. What is 500 times 3? 5 to 7 happy customers times 3.
You can see the 5 to 7 happy customers by the 500 that gets represented, because if you get back to Umpo's journey, if you looked in December, for example, she was on 1,238, I think it was. And when I was chatting to her, I said, you know, your customers in November, which gave you 538 volume points, in December, 1,241, what changed? And it was a case of, she was on leave. December in South Africa is notoriously our main kind of holiday, like you guys have here in August, okay? And of course she was not at work, so she was out there with her scale, doing evaluations, she was getting more customers on board. But when you look back at these reports, this has been our strategy and it's been our whole kind of philosophy since 2013. But when you start to see organizations, we've got 4 organizations that are beautiful illustrations of members coming, or customers being upgraded to members going on a journey, but just by focusing on 5 to 7 happy customers, the 500 volume points are happening every month, and it's not just the 500 as Brett says, and that illustration showed you. 600, 700, 1,200. They're getting to move up the ranks of the marketing plan organically, beautifully, just by taking care of their 5 to 7 customers. Umpo's sponsor, by the way, was a beautiful example and remains a gorgeous example of the 5 to 7 happy customers. And he yesterday, with month end, he finished our fully qualified Get Team member.
So everything I've done now is preamble, and to be honest, we're going to do this in more detail this afternoon. Because we're going to talk to you about 2 things. The plan, 500 times 3 plus 2, and the skills, 10, 5, 1 hour. 15, 10, 5, 1 hour. And I'll explain why, because typical. We can't take something that is extraordinary and working and not tweak it slightly, because that's just human nature.
That's all we've ever done.
Given the most amazing formula, this really works, everyone takes it and goes, I wonder what will happen if I put new wheels on this.
Yeah.
Human nature. But we're going to talk to you. Actually, we won't talk to you. This afternoon, we'll be talking to your members inside the room about exactly how they can become supervisor to World Team, to active World Team within 9 months of getting registered. If they just focus on 5 to 7 happy customers. We'll talk to every person in this room that they can walk out of this door and sign up somebody tomorrow and take them to active World Team within 9 months if they just focus on 5 to 7 happy customers. We'll tell them also that it's not typical, we'll tell them also it's not average, we'll tell them also, you know, that actually, you know.
But it is possible.
Yeah, we'll do all the stuff, and then we'll tell them that it's possible. And then we'll show them a whole pile of examples of people who've actually done it. This is where it's more relevant for you. So now you're a supervisor or an active supervisor. There are 2 schools of thought here. A supervisor wants to get to World Team. My personal feeling is that a supervisor shouldn't want to get to World Team. A supervisor should want to get to active World Team and Get Team. If you design active World Team and Get Team, you'll do World Team a certain way. You see, because both of these scenarios, you become World Team. In the top line, you've done 2,500 volume points 4 months in a row. And generally, it's a generalization, the reason somebody does World Team this way is because of their sponsor, not them. They are being promoted. You've got to get to World Team, you've got to get to World Team. What's World Team? 2,500 points 4 months in a row. We personally still love to create World Team members, but we try and aim for the second route. In the first month, they do maybe 2,500 volume points. But they got some structures. In the second month, 3,000, 3.5. Third month, 4,000, 4.5. By the 4th month, a new World Team member should be creating supervisors. Otherwise, they become a World Team member with no supervisors underneath them. And it's very difficult then for them to restart on the road all the way back at the beginning for active World Team. Because now they need these 500 World Team points under the supervisors. The truth is, the reason I took you from member, imagine if we fixed this problem before supervisor position. And we fixed this on the member journey to supervisor. So by the time they became supervisor, this was happening automatically. 2 scenarios of World Team. Which one would give you increased royalties and would give them accelerated growth to their next pin. It's just about trying to build it organically, 5 to 7 happy customers at a time. So back to the strategy. Customer focus. I think in the UK, from what I heard yesterday, the customer focus is more alive than probably 90% of the countries in the world. There is a massive focus on level 10. You know, there were some stats coming out how people who use level 10 have got the highest customer engagement, the highest average volumes, the highest customer follow-up. People who use other styles of business have also got incredible customer engagement, customer follow-up, customer communities, customer gatherings. The customer focus is great, but I will tell you that I spoke about this yesterday, there's an Englishman who I quite like, Richard Branson. He has a saying and he says, don't worry about the customers, worry about your employees. If you look after your employees will take care of the customers. And personally, I think that this is what we, the leadership, let's look after our members like crazy, our non-supervisors, our members. Let's help them develop 5 to 7 customers because they'll look after the customers like crazy. And if we get that right, this member development on a journey to supervisor, not on a quick hit to supervisor, 3-month, 4-month journey, solid, with structures and sustainability, we'll talk about it this afternoon, everything changes because if you get that right, you're creating active will team like crazy, get team like crazy, and everyone in the room gets to be able to change pins at least once or twice in the next year or two. That's where it becomes exciting.
It's actually, and the truth is, it's actually, if I look at our day and the way we plan our day, focusing on that member development is what excites me most about Herbalife right now. Because they've been customers that have fallen in love with the products. They've been customers that have been looked after and they've been locked in with the community. They've been locked in with the family and they feel the love and they feel the support which Herbalife gives. So now that member development, they are those excited people that really do see the path to a better future. And they know the products, they know what it takes, they know how to follow up, they know how to look after customers because they've had that experience in their journey of being a customer. So member development, and of course once they start getting 35s and 42s and then on to 50%, they are just so exciting and they are just bringing every single person down to the clubs and the HOMs and the parties and the gatherings and the shake parties and anything that you're doing, any DMOs that you're doing, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it all works, but they're just bringing people down the whole time. So that's why we highlighted in red on the slide. Because when you truly see, as the day unfolds, the remainder of our presentation about what it is that we're doing, you will see that get excited about member development, because that truly is the exciting sweet spot.